And so we are hoping by coming here that you would train us to elite levels so that we can then compete in pro. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yes. And in exchange, I'll give your podcast a 5-star review.
Oh, what a trade-off. What a trade-off.
What's up, guys? We didn't get any further than what's up.
Terrible, dude.
No, what are you talking about? That was amazing. Just to have that and cut it right there and just us laughing. That's
You know what? We're going to roll. We're going to keep that.
All right, let's go.
Welcome back to the Briones Pickleball Podcast. Today, usually we have pro players and things like that, but we have your special guest, 3.5 at best.
Wait. What do you mean? How do you know we're not pro?
Oh, you're right. I should have checked Duper scores on the way in.
I mean, Will's played a pro bracket before.
Pro qualifier.
Yeah.
Pro qualifier.
We're going to get right into that. But again, you know them. They are pickleball connoisseurs.
A little bit.
Professional paddle reviewers.
Wow.
And
that's a title now.
I'll take that title.
And
That's
yeah,
kinda crazy.
YouTube stars, Pickleball Studio, Chris Olsen, and Pickleball Will.
Oh, I loved it.
That's
The sound
awesome.
effect.
That might be a little loud there.
That's sick.
Hey guys, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us again.
So I don't know. We don't have a huge. We have some plans here, but we're actually in Colorado right now, and I don't know. Why don't you guys tell us why we're here?
Okay, yeah, I'll get us started on why we're here. So Chris and I have played our first tournament together. It actually went pretty good. We played 4-5, 19 plus, men's doubles, and
We won 3-2.
went 3-2. We didn't win. And so we are hoping by coming here that you would train us to elite levels so that we can then compete in pro. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yes. And in exchange, I'll give your podcast a 5-star review.
What a trade-off. What a trade-off.
I'll get rid of my 3-star review. No, I'm just kidding. I've never done that.
Okay, really though, the question is, after this 2-day intensive, I just want to know, Jordan, how confident are you in bringing Chris past the level of 3.5?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm confident in my abilities,
Yeah.
and the other side, you have to do your work. All right. I am confident.
I'll do
I
my
am
work.
confident.
I'll
All
do
right.
my work.
All right, so yeah, I'm here in Colorado with my family. Just got in a couple days ago. These guys, we've been planning this for a while.
Yes.
And not to make this a pitch, but they're coming in for the 2-day intensive experience that I've been talking about. And today we're just going to talk. This is going to be open discussion. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Get into what they do, and I'll tell you what, guys. In the YouTube space. You two are one of my best friends here
Yeah.
Let's go.
on the
I would
pickleball
say so.
YouTube space.
Let's go.
I really
I'll take it.
appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah.
Warms my heart.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad we're here.
So who's gonna start this thing?
Well, since it's your podcast, we thought you would start off the first question.
Well, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to start it because I specifically thought of one question. Okay.
I'm ready.
So you haven't gotten to see us play a lot or played with us, but you've played a few games with us, probably enough to get an idea. So what I want to know, and we might do this for a few different shots.
Okay.
If your life is on the line,
Ooh.
and it depends on me or Will hitting a good third shot drop, who do you trust to save your life?
So what's interesting, you know what? After the end of the intensive, I will go through every single shot, and then I'll make a
That would be amazing.
I'll make
I
a
want to see
Chris
that.
or Will, and we'll see, dude.
Okay.
That would be actually pretty good.
But what is your initial kind of guess right now?
So check this out. I don't know, just guessing. I mean, I played with you guys a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, a little bit.
And drives, forehand, I'd say Will.
Let's go.
Drops. Now I haven't seen enough, but I guess I would just say Chris.
Let's go. He evened it out. He played the good parent right there.
No, these are truthful answers here. We only tell the truth here.
Okay.
Volleys, hand speed. We'll give it to Will. We talked about this.
Yep.
Okay. Now resets, I'd probably give to Chris.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, and we'll go down the list. So leave it in the comments below if you would like to see that kind of cheat sheet.
This should be a game show.
Somebody in the comments should let us know because they haven't, necessarily gotten to see a lot of it. But if they just had to guess, I'd love to know what people think if their life was on the line.
That'd be such an interesting game show. It would be. Just to bring somebody.
That's some of the questions that I've had asking some of the pros on my podcast. So we could do a little bit of that.
Okay.
That'd be fun. But yeah, that's my one thing I was chuckling about, thinking about. I was like, I wonder.
So just to hop in here, if anyone here is living under a rock, you may not know who Chris and Will is, but they are together, I guess. You know, you guys do the Pickleball Studio podcast together.
Yep.
Yes.
And then you have your Pickleball Will YouTube channel.
Yep.
And then the Pickleball Studio
Yes.
YouTube channel. So if you're living under a rock, these guys, they're the best in the business when it comes to paddle reviews. And I can actually say that pretty confidently. And this is one of my questions.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys haven't been following the Briones Pickleball channel, we've actually got into kind of dipping our toes into some paddle reviews.
Yeah, we saw that.
So roast me.
You just gave free license to Chris to roast you.
So here's a couple
gosh.
questions that I have. And for those of you watching, we're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff. Probably talk about business. Probably talk about tournaments. I don't know if you guys saw the PPA today.
I saw a little bit.
But there's big upsets. So
Yes.
maybe we'll talk about that. But starting with paddle reviews, we're dipping our toes in the space.
Trying to take a little slice of my pie. I have a family, Briones.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I
Yeah.
have a bigger family though.
You do have a bigger family. That's true.
I have a family of 5, dude.
Yeah, I got me and my wife.
Yeah, dude.
I'm
Come on,
single,
just
so
give me some slices,
okay.
dude. Come on.
Give him some slices. Well, hey, you don't see us making tutorial videos stopping in.
You got the whole pie.
You have
You're right.
some semi.
I have some.
Semi. Okay. But anyways, what advice? Okay, you could roast me.
Mm-hmm.
Or what advice do you have for me as I go forward and experiment with paddle reviewing?
Chris, did you want to go first? Yeah.
And you could maybe be totally off track and give me bad advice, so I don't climb the ladder here. But
Here's the thing. I'm not too afraid, even if I gave away secrets, because I think if people realize how hard some of this work is,
It's hard.
They just won't put the effort in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be too worried about it. It's like you can have the secret, but you still have to do something with the secret.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Knowing is only half the battle.
So I've watched, I think, half of the Halo and half of the
Really?
Perseus review.
You know what? I didn't ask you this. I'm going to ask you next. So you've watched half. Thank you for giving me a watch time, man.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Thank you.
Normally I try and give the full watch time, but I was like in between packing and whatnot. I think the biggest thing that you'll get better at just as you review more paddles is when you can reference and compare it to other paddles.
Yes.
Like basically as your portfolio of knowledge expands, it will
Yes.
get much better for the viewer. Because right now, since you're not switching paddles all the time naturally,
Yes.
you just have a smaller pool to be like one new paddle might seem really good, but you may not have tried some of the alternatives that are better and maybe cheaper. So
Yeah.
you'll learn that as you.
So here, great. Thank you for answering that, Chris. And I think, so one of the reasons we hopped into the space, I just think that it's just doable for us, and it makes
It's
sense.
just smart.
Yeah,
You should.
it makes sense for us. And for those of you out there, I should have saved the comment, but one of my comments was along the lines of, I forgot what paddle review. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it said,
Yeah.
"Great content, Jordan, but leave up the paddle reviews to Pickleball Studio."
See, okay, here's Will and
see
I
that
were
comment.
actually talking about this today. One of the very unintended things that has happened with my videos is I will see other channels review stuff. Like I try and watch almost all the reviews just to know what people are
Really?
saying, see how it lines up, as many as I can.
Okay.
And I'll see people comment all the times like, "Oh, Chris said this paddle was garbage. Like I can't believe you'd even say this was decent."
Right.
And I'm like,
So-
whoa, guys. Like,
You guys, so
Chris is the authoritarian.
so what's
figure
really
now.
interesting, you guys have kind of cemented yourself until we come in, obviously. But you guys have really cemented yourselves to I would say a stratosphere where people trust in you so much.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge.
yeah.
Yes.
And hopefully we do that with our instructional videos, and that's
Yes.
what we do. But and I think that's really cool. And one of the things that we talked about, and I was asking you about, is reviewing paddles that actually suck.
Yes.
Yes.
And we talked about like, man, that, because for all those you listening and watching, like you said, Chris, it takes so much work, time, and effort to make these videos. So it's tough.
Yeah.
So to review something bad and say, obviously, you're, and we all do this, we're not doing this for free.
Yeah.
We want to give you the best value possible. And if you decide to purchase the paddle, then
that's great.
Then it helps out. But yeah, that's just one of the things that I was like wondering when you review bad paddles, and it's just like,
you should do that for,
yeah.
I guess, because you see a lot of people, you see a lot of students, and you see a lot of shot makings or shots that aren't made by your students, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure most of it is mechanics and knowledge, but part of it is probably the equipment that they're using. So for you to have knowledge more on paddles and for you to be able to recommend, the right piece of gear for them to help improve their game, because at that level, from the 3.0 to like 4.0, I think the equipment matters greatly, and it would just make sense, you being their coach, to be able to recommend something better than what they have if they do need it.
Okay, thanks, man. See, this is why I like these guys. Seriously, if you, I don't know, there's some people in different spaces, right?
Yeah.
That they don't want to share any information or want to kick it to the side.
Right.
But that's what I really appreciate.
What I have Will and I were also talking about this today. One of the things that I have loved about a lot of the content creators in pickleball, especially the ones like, me, Will, Kyle, Shay, like you, like people that are, we're a little closer.
Yeah.
One thing I really love is no one treats the other one as like, oh, you're my competitor. Like I've got to like hold this closer to my chest. Like I will openly tell people what I'm working on, like what's working, what's not working, like how can I help you improve your thing? One, because there's plenty to go around, and also I'm just way happier seeing other people succeed. And like I don't think that any of you guys succeeding means I don't succeed. Like as long as I'm working hard and continuing to make my stuff better, and plus I just like having, it can be a very lonely thing doing content. Yeah. And you've been in this for a long time, so you probably know that better than most. But if I had to do all of this without being able to talk to anyone, I probably wouldn't have a fun time.
Right.
Yeah.
It would suck.
That's good.
Exactly. So we love collaborating. We love seeing everybody else succeed. And this is the most fun for me, is when I get to talk to other people and be in other people's videos. I tell that to everybody like all the time. When I see myself, even if I'm not mentioned or anything, when I see myself in Kyle's videos, your videos, Shay's videos, it's a good time. And it's like, I think the clinic, they posted something. It was just like a story, right? And in the back, it was me and Steve Kuhn.
Oh, funny.
Playing. And I just reposted it. I said, hey, thanks for the feature, guys. And that was just so fun.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, just real quickly, one of the reasons why I got into it is kind of like what you said, Will, about paddle reviewing. I'm a coach. I coach a lot, and people ask me all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
People ask me for my opinion. So I'm going to keep experimenting. I'm going to do the reviews as honest as I can. One thing about you guys that go super deep into like
technical,
technical stuff. I mean, for me to find kind of like my like niche or audience, I'm kind of thinking, I don't know, you guys kind of tell me if you think this is a good idea or not. But I think that, depending on playing style, I coach a lot of players, right?
Yeah.
Depending on playing style,
yes.
like what you like to do, what kind of shots you like to hit, and what kind of player you are, I would probably recommend different paddles for different players. And obviously it's not going to be perfect every time, but my goal, I guess, as I continue to get better and learn more and try hundreds of more paddles, is to be more accurate in that and kind of steer them the right way.
And also, I think too, there's different niches you can kind of carve out within your reviews. So like Will usually takes like more of the humor approach, like laid back. It's not as technical. Mine's obviously overly technical. And I think there's a market for, well, one, you just don't want to be like everyone else. Like someone else could come along and be like, I'm going to be just like Chris. Like I'm going to get swing weight. I'm going to get grit levels. I'm going to do all these things. But like, you don't really need another clone. Like you want to be your own thing. And I think
that's good, man.
I think in terms of paddle reviews, like at least right now, I tend to believe like I provide overall the highest value of a paddle review, but I don't think you have to dive into some of those things. Like I think they matter, but it's like some people look at the technical things and care too much. And also your audience is people who are just getting into pickleball. Like, they don't need to know, like, does this paddle get 1,800 plus RPM? They're going to be like, what does that even mean? I don't even know how to hit a third shot drop yet.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Because a lot of the people that watch your stuff are super
Super
paddle nerds,
Yes.
and they want the best value and best
100%.
deal.
Yeah.
So,
And I think a lot of the people watching yours, it's not going to be that same type of audience. And I think also anyone who comes across and they're like, oh, well, you got this thing wrong. Like, people also need to remember that a lot of things in paddle reviews are relatively subjective. Like, I try and be as objective as I can, but some things at the end of the day just come down to, here's what I thought, and here's how I think it works for most players. Other people may disagree or even love the paddle that I hate. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Happens all the time.
Favorite paddle right now? Let's
For me, it's
start over here on the right side. What do you play with here?
6-0 double black diamonds, currently my favorite.
Okay. What do you like about it?
Dude, just like everything. And people ask me all the time, they're like, well, like, what would you do to make it better? And I'm like, I feel like if I was going to design a paddle, it would basically be this. Like, it gets great spin.
I may or may not be doing that review soon. Stay tuned.
I can't wait to see what you think of it.
Okay. Will?
For me right now,
What are you playing? What are you hitting with, bro? What are you swinging?
What am I swinging?
Yeah, dude.
It's right now, honestly, until very recently, it's kind of been a tie between the Ronbus R3 Pulsar and the Bread and Butter Filth. Those are the two. They're very similar. They have very similar specs.
Okay.
But really what it comes down to is I think I just like the design of the Bread and Butter Filth more. And so aesthetics.
Okay, because hold on. Let's be honest. So you're kind of sponsored by them, or no? Did you do
I did a sponsored
strip?
Yeah, I did a sponsored review or post.
Okay.
For them, and so some people might say I'm a little biased, but of course I wouldn't have done that if I already didn't like them.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're called Bread and Butter. Is that what the company's called?
Bread and Butter.
Or the Ronbus?
The Ronbus is
Pulsar.
The Pulsar. That's a different. It's the R3 Pulsar, and that's made by a company called Ronbus.
Yeah. Does that feels like it looks like the Hyperion, right? Does that feel close to that? Or no?
Well, the R3 is more of like an elongated regular paddle. The R1 looks closer to the Hyperion.
But feel-wise, it feels like...
feel-wise, no, not at all.
Oh, what is it?
It's
what does
stiffer.
It feel like?
It's stiffer.
More power.
More power, but it still, in my opinion, plays fairly soft, at least compared to the other thermoform paddles out there. And I wish I brought it for you to try out.
That's right.
Kind of think you would have liked it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right now, I'm using the Halo 16 millimeter Max.
Yes. So, why did you switch to that?
Shout out. No.
Shout out. I'm honestly curious why you switched, because last time I saw you were playing with the elongated version, the XL, and I just figured.
Yep.
For players who are, becoming advanced, most in the advanced 4.5 to higher, right? I would say they gravitate towards an elongated shape, but you switched down. So why is that?
Yeah. So what's really interesting, and because what's the grip size on yours? The
5.4, or like
it's only 5.4.
It's probably like the usable area you can hold is probably closer to like 5.5.
Okay, and then what's the Ronbus?
5.5, but it's
okay.
The usable is probably like 5.75.
And so I coming from tennis, I love the longer grips. Two-hander. I've been working on that shot over the years. Drive, speed ups, even adding that to my game.
Yeah.
So I think I just tried a few paddles with shorter handles, and talking about swing weight, kind of like you had a video. I really like this analogy, or what you showed. I know you remember this, Chris, but with the hammer.
The hammer, yeah.
Right. So like holding a hammer like on the grip, right, and then holding it
at the head.
Right. Like, I don't know. Is that the swing weight example?
That is a swing weight example.
So obviously, if you hold it at the head, you could swing it faster. So obviously that's kind of like the same thing with a longer grip and shorter grip. So my hand speed, as I'm drilling with some pros in Arizona, is big, and trying to get less jammed up over here and have just quicker hands. That was big for me. So what I did is I adapted my grip to fit. I know it's a smaller grip, but I just choke up more on my left hand.
Yeah.
And if you can effectively hit a two-handed backhand with a shorter grip, I think that
you should go for a shorter.
Obviously you're gonna lose some reach, but I think that I would pick that over longer.
Do you know which paddle I really wish they came after I left, but I would have loved to bring it for you to mess after I came here.
What did you get?
Okay, so there's a company in Minnesota that like just launched a paddle or whatever,
Really?
but it's a 7-inch handle. It's like a tennis racket handle.
No. So do you have you guys tried? It was Spencer Smith. He used to use it.
Yes,
way back in the day.
Yeah, the Compass or the Gamma.
It's longer than
It
that.
will make that feel small.
Yeah, see, that's way too much.
I would love to see you play with it because it was really trippy, but it's kind of fun.
You know what though? For singles, I think some tennis players may
would probably
go to some really longer handles,
and that's why it's 7.
I think there's advantage.
The owner's a tennis player.
But not for doubles. I don't see that being a thing.
I just think in like the hand speed, like it'd be too easy to. You want that surface area back, but
Yeah.
I played with it. I was honestly surprised. I was like, I'm probably gonna hate this thing. Honestly, I had a pretty good time with it. We'll see when I, more in depth. But first thought was like, it was actually kind of fun.
We're gonna take a quick break here and shout out to our sponsors.
Okay.
Pickleball Studio.
Pickleball Studio
Pickleball Will.
and Pickleball Will are now sponsors. We'll set up payment later, guys. So go ahead and check out their channel. So Pickleball Will, Pickleball Studio, great guys. If you guys want more information on paddles, paddle reviews, Pickleball Will, you do a lot of paddle content and also
A little bit of everything. Pros versus Joes.
yeah. You have a lot of fun content on there.
Right. I'm trying to do some more tutorials. I just feel like I have a lot to give, and honestly, kind of just focusing on one, it can get stale. Like when you make tutorial videos, does it ever get stale for you? Like, do you get bored of it?
No.
You don't?
Not yet,
that's
man.
Good. Well,
no,
see,
it's my thing, man.
This
my
is
thing.
This is the mark of a true instructor.
I mean,
true educator.
That's like asking Chris if he gets bored of reviewing paddles. You know?
Well,
I don't get bored of reviewing paddles, but as of recently, I have
paddles can
changed
get boring.
my. Some paddles are definitely boring. I've changed my format
Okay.
to include a little bit more of my actual personality because, previously I was basically just reading scripts.
it took a long time, guys. We finally made it with
Cool,
me and his brother's help. We've been able to have him come out of his shell a little bit. You're welcome. If you're out there watching his videos and you've been enjoying the latest rendition and format of his videos, you're welcome. I'll send you invoice, Chris.
I'll add it to your invoice. It's fine. I'll add it to your tab. But no, seriously, the big thing was they became so formulaic. Like I knew exactly everything I needed to do and could probably knock out a review super fast. But ultimately, I just started to feel like some of them weren't that fun for me. Now, when I'm adding in a little bit more funny things or things, just my personality or whatever, now I'm like, I look forward to editing it. Whereas before I was like, I know what I have to do here. This is kinda
dude.
boring.
Your last Perseus one was really good.
Thank you. I
mean,
appreciate that.
editing wise.
Yeah.
It was top notch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, as long as we have fun. I think it's all about having fun. That's why I do a lot of the different things. Like I love doing Pros versus Joes, right? That is kind of, I think, a hallmark for me at this point. And I always think I have a more interesting spin on tutorial videos. I like to not necessarily teach like technical things, but concepts. My idea, if I do decide to do more tutorial things, is to teach you a concept where it doesn't matter what kind of technique you're using, this can apply to you, some foundational things that you can take. And then I also like it when people take something that I've taught them and they build upon it themselves or figure it out themselves, because I think that is the joy of this game and this sport, is to discover what works for you, right? There is satisfaction in that, and a lot of people don't get that, and people are just discovering that they like competitive sports. Like, how many people out there, you probably met a bunch of people out there that are, I've never played a competitive sport in my life, I've never done this, and then they find pickleball and they're hooked, and it's because it's competitive, and now the joy of competition is in them, and then the joy of figuring things out so that they can beat their competition, whether that's their friend, their mom, their dad, and watching them figure that out, or watching them get into a crazy rally or hand battle and watching them come on top, and I'm part of their team, or even if I'm on the other side, that brings me so much satisfaction. And I always want to bring that kind of joy into my videos. It doesn't matter what I do, whether it's a paddle review, whether it's a highlight video, or teaching or whatever.
That's what makes the sport so great, Seriously though, but before I forget, I actually do want to shout out Springs Pickleball here in Colorado. Shout out to Scott, the owner here. We're actually in the facility here. This is where I'm going to be running 2-day intensives for the next 8 weeks. Cool. So, shout out to Springs Pickleball. Shout out to Selkirk. Thank you for providing high-quality paddles. What are we hopping into next, boys? What do we got?
Well, actually, one thing I want to dive into since we're talking about sponsorships, because some people talked about this online, but they were like, how is Jordan going to review paddles when he's sponsored by Selkirk? Can you chime in on that at all?
Interesting. Oh, yeah. So I guess just very simply, I'm a Selkirk sponsored player, influencer.
Uh-huh.
And but I have the freedom to review paddles as well.
Yeah, they've just told you hey, you can review paddles.
I mean that's our agreement. And so Selkirk, I love the company, a lot of great paddles, and that's the other thing too. I do want to be, as I get better and we get better at doing this, I do want to be as honest and transparent as I can. And what I do tell I tell people all the time, because players ask me, well, what do you recommend? And they automatically kind of, what Selkirk paddle do you recommend?
Yeah.
So I will recommend them some Selkirk paddles, but the honest truth is, okay, Selkirk isn't the only company that has great paddles. So, so I do, testing paddles lately and stuff. I'll make recommendations depending on their game. I'll give them different options. So I'm trying to, so that's what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's just good for people to know, because anytime people see sponsored by someone, and rightfully so, there are a lot of people in pickleball who they're sponsored and they will just shill that one company. So I think it's important for people to know that you are actually allowed to review and say nice things about other paddles. Otherwise, people may assume he's with Selkirk. Of course he's going to say X, Y, or Z.
I'm going to be as honest as I can. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Selkirk is the number one paddle company, though. No bias. Okay.
I love it.
All right. So as a company, though, I really think that. They're doing a lot of things for the sport. So I like what they're doing.
Well, that's actually an interesting thing I've been thinking about lately. I haven't really incorporated it into my reviews because I don't know that people care at the moment, but there are a lot of companies coming out at cheaper price points with more competitive paddles than we have ever had in the past, and they rival some of the top dollar paddles. But an interesting thing that you also have to factor in is some of these bigger companies with those prices are able to do more things for the sport. So if you take a Selkirk, a Yola, a Paddle Tech, an Engage, any of these bigger name brands, yes, the paddles are more expensive, but also they get to sponsor athletes and let them do this for a living. They get to support school programs. They get to donate paddles. There's a lot of things that the other companies with lower margins can't do. And not to say that they're not supporting the sport. They obviously are. But
that's something I've obviously thought about. But that's really good, man.
Yeah.
That's something I should. That's a good talking point there.
Yeah, and whether people, to the consumer, some people are going to be I just want the best paddle for the lowest price, and that's completely fair. But I think when people go, why are they charging $250 or $333? It's well, you have to remember they're doing other things for the sport outside of just supplying you with a paddle. And I think, we need to be thankful for that, because some of these companies have literally helped build the sport what it is now for us.
Yeah,
for us. So we have jobs because of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just kind of across the board. I mean, on all the comments, especially when the Perseus comes out or whatever, it's oh, that's just a marked up whatever, right? So we get that, but also people are I think just generally, the people who are trying to find deals are generally mad or have some sort of tension against companies that charge higher price for their paddles.
For sure.
And along with that, what are your thoughts, Will, about, or what can you tell viewers? There's so much now. Me working with distributors and things like that. There's margins. There's just so much that goes into it. They're not, obviously they can't not make a profit.
Yeah.
But obviously everyone just thinks that they're just trying
to shark people.
Yeah, just squeeze out every penny. But there's a lot that goes into.
You're building a brand,
building a business.
Yeah, building a business, building a brand so that it can be sustainable, right? Because those are the companies that are keeping pickleball as a whole sustainable for us, right? And that is important, and people don't see that. And yes, they are coming with, they probably have higher margins or whatnot, but if they are running their business properly and being transparent. And you can see it. Like let's say with Selkirk, you can see all the influencers and creators that they're kind of signing or supporting, or some of the pros, or seeing the tournaments that they are the title sponsor of, right? They are paying money to help literally build the foundation for pickleball in our community, and not just for the pros, but for the communities as well. I know Selkirk has a bunch of outreach programs, and they,
well, the app in general, just like
the
everything
app.
they've done for the sport.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
There's
Selkirk
a lot.
TV, all the channels, and all those companies are doing their part. They're kind of diversifying, and they're seeing what sticks. So that extra money that comes in, right, that allows them to try new things, new products, new business models to see what sticks.
Well, and I think there's a lot of smaller things that people don't see or maybe necessarily think about. And for some people, it's just not important, but to others, it might be. So for example, companies that offer a lifetime warranty, usually that's going to come with a higher price. And companies that offer a much lower price, usually it may be 3 months or 6 months. And sometimes those paddles break faster. So you have to think like, okay, if I have to replace this and it's out of warranty, I'll have to buy another one. If I have a lifetime warranty, maybe that cost got made up. Maybe the paddle was just built a little bit better. There's a lot of interesting things like that to factor in. And for some people, it just doesn't matter. Maybe they don't hit hard enough to break paddles, yada, yada, yada. But like, I think sometimes the bigger companies get slapped around more than they should. And that doesn't mean they don't occasionally do something that's like maybe that kind of feels like a money grab. But I don't think it's always wise to assume every company has the worst intent. And I don't think most of the time they do.
And people shouldn't expect that either. Or people should just be more kind to them, I think.
Shout out Selkirk, lifetime warranty. Hey, real quick, because do you know how the lifetime warranty works? I got to ask him about this.
It's a limited lifetime warranty.
So what does that mean?
So it's really up to the discretion of Selkirk.
But they're pretty good. I've known several players that just turn it in. Yeah,
they just turn it in. And usually the first go around, even if it's something you can tell it's something that you did, it was your fault. Like you got mad and you swung your paddle up against the fence and it breaks in half. Like Selkirk will be pretty lenient in servicing you. But if they see, they keep track, right? They see how many times you do that or whatnot. And if they see that you're trying to take advantage of them, they won't. So don't do that. Don't take advantage of them, because then you ruin it for everybody else. For everyone else.
I will say, like these days I keep track of what I hear about companies' warranties just through social media, because I think it's good for my reviews to know how customers are being treated. And
a spreadsheet for this, Chris?
I don't have a spreadsheet.
Just an example, like the double black diamond. What's the warranty on that one?
I believe it's 6 months. And actually, they changed their warranty policy because of my review.
That's longer or shorter?
They removed, basically in their warranty, they said if you apply lead tape, your warranty is void. And in my review, I was basically like, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. I'm like, everyone applies lead tape, and let's say they didn't want you to know that. Do you know how easy it is for me to remove that lead tape and clean the edge guard? You would have zero idea. So I was basically like,
geez, man,
you should just remove this. And the day after the review, they removed that. And
they did?
Yeah, they updated it.
That's how much power Chris has in his face.
Chris, power of the paddles. Dude.
Power of the paddles.
But dude, he's a paddle ranger.
That's so funny.
Hashtag paddle ranger.
But I think it is important for that type of stuff. Like you got to, sometimes that warranty matters. And I've seen Selkirk has always been pretty up there in warranties. I was actually at a tournament with one of the CEOs. Lady came up. She literally just came to say hi. We were just in a conversation. And she came to say hi, and he saw her paddle face was like pretty scuffed up. It was like maybe one of the old Vanguards or whatever. And he was like, "Oh, like that shouldn't be happening." He was like, "Just bring it to the tent. Tell him Rob said give you a new paddle, and we'll give you a new paddle." And I was like, definitely did not have to do that. And I know people in my area. Two people specifically. One guy, this is when I could do the chainsaw serve. I aced him so many times. And one time he finally went the opposite direction I was going. He literally turned around, just chucked his paddle at the wall. And next time I saw him, he was playing with a different paddle. I was like, "Dude, where's your paddle?" And he's like, "Oh, the handle broke." And I was like, "Was it from when you threw it?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then, obviously he didn't tell Selkirk. That's why he was like, it just broke. But they literally replaced it for him.
Selkirk.
So
what a company, huh? What a company. I do have a quick question here.
Yeah.
What's the worst comment you've gotten on YouTube or roasty?
There's so many.
I can't wait to hear yours. Okay. Oh man.
I don't know. Just think of one. you know?
Okay.
We don't have to dig that deep, you know?
Okay. There are definitely people who will criticize me for like just the dumbest things.
Okay, like what?
I mean, gosh.
Your face?
No, actually, my voice. I get that one quite a bit. People are like, dude, your voice is so annoying. And I'm like, dude, there's a lot of other. I just laugh. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
At this point, I have come to accept that my voice is not the most flattering voice. And now when someone says it, I'm like, dude, you're right. Like, it is annoying. So I'm like, you go watch another creator. But I don't know. People will just like bully me over different things. Some people are like, this test is so stupid. Like, you should be doing it this way and this way. And I'm like, dude, I can't wait to see your review.
Yeah.
Let me know.
You guys
Let me know
go
when it
out
comes
there.
Yeah. Like,
You guys go out there and teach
actually,
a dink.
Here's
all right?
here's my favorite one. Actually, I can think of a great example.
Yeah.
People all the time are like, dude, why don't you just build a robot to do like your spin test or a sweet spot test?
Oh
And I'm
my
like,
gosh.
oh yeah.
Oh.
I forgot I have an engineering degree in my back pocket and like $50,000 to go build that robot. Let me just go.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm like, dude, it costs a lot of money. It's not. Yeah.
What about you, Will?
I've seen some stuff
On your channel?
on my channel.
Yeah.
I guess my pros versus Joes. It's always some mad tennis players. Like, what is this? Tennis for retards? Like, literally somebody said that. Like,
man.
YouTube hit it from my feed. I got a notification for it.
Oh, wait. They hide those comments?
Dude, any really obnoxious
Oh,
or
dude,
very
really?
mean comments like that. Yeah, YouTube has
Oh, because of certain words.
because of certain
that's-
words. The
oh,
triggers. So
I didn't know that.
there's probably some comments that you probably don't see the light of day unless
Wow.
there's
Okay.
some sort of setting or feature where you can kind of go in and see it. But sometimes it's still hard to find. And if you do find it, sometimes they won't let you respond back to it, or sometimes they just delete it in general. So I've seen stuff like that. And there's also there are some people, I don't know if they're my fans or they haters, but there's some people that consistently comment on my channel, like just to like either troll me or be mean.
Yeah. I get those too.
Right.
Well, if they're a fan, they wouldn't do that.
No, they're nuts. But I don't understand why they keep on coming back.
Well, dude,
They like
some
just like want to hate
people-
me.
Some people just live that life, dude.
And I'm like,
I'm
dude,
just telling
that's
you.
just
So-
an unhappy life.
So
I'm like,
let me tell you a quick. There's one thread, dude. Okay, so this is hilarious, actually. I had a commenter. I can't even think. I don't even remember his name now. But we went back on and forth on a couple of things, and then it got to a point where like, oh, you're so weak. You're like at the Rio, and I'd come and beat you and all. So and then at first, because I'm not even generally, I'm all the time nice.
Yeah.
On my comments.
Yeah.
No matter what.
yeah.
Until someone crosses the line, and I might not get into it. I've learned from this experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I said we'll go Facebook Live, we'll go YouTube Live.
I have a story to tell after you tell the story too.
let's go. Bring it on. So it went on for like days or weeks, and then he just
Crickets.
eventually just disappeared off the face of the planet. But
Naturally.
yeah, it was getting a little chirpy, and I was like, you know what? Let's go then.
Yeah.
Let's go.
How
Let's see
often-
it.
How often do you get comments, that are maybe more mean spirited that like actually get in your head and like make you upset?
That was probably some of the things in the thread.
Yeah.
That was the only one.
Really?
Because he said something about my wife.
Sure.
Oh.
And then that's
Then
when
it
I
was
was
personal.
like,
Then it comes-
and I try to keep it light, it's like,
Yeah.
But then, so like, and then my kid, like me as a parent and stuff, he was just saying really dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, so no, if someone just says, "Oh, your video sucks" or your whatever,
You're not
I'll
that
give
good.
them. I'll just give them I'll just say thanks, or I'll just
Thanks
like
for watching.
or I'll
Thanks for
give
watching.
them a sarcastic kind of answer.
Yeah. Troll them
So
back
like,
a little bit.
but
for
I
fun.
don't. I'm not like out here to.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Leave some negative comments. See what happens.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I actually don't mind negative comments if there is genuine constructive criticism, because I actually there are things I improve from my videos by reading the comments and I go, that's actually a really good point. But I don't like it when you just attack me, basically. It's like, okay, well, you don't have to just attack me. You can say, hey, I'd really appreciate if you would add this thing, instead of being like, dude, your test sucks, like you're absolutely terrible at this. Just be like, hey, here's what I think you could do better. And it's like, yeah, I'll probably consider it.
For those of you that do leave negative comments, I do appreciate, like what Chris is saying, if it's constructive, leave some comments. I'll try to learn from it. And I've learned, actually over the years, because I've been doing this a long time, I have I guess a question here that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says like, how do you handle situations when you receive conflicting feedback or opinions, and how do you, or basically, how does it help shift or shape your path or your reviews? Because even when you started, right?
Yeah.
Like I guess this constructive comments and stuff like that, it has helped me over time. Some of them becoming a better, I don't know, YouTuber, coach, like whatever.
I'm sure you get negative reviews, whether it's in person or online. Like, how do you deal with that?
Reviews on what? On videos.
On your tutorial. Let's say tutorials.
Oh,
Do you get? How often do you get that? How many people actually say this does not work, or this is a horrible
Not
advice?
very often, but no.
That's because he's so good at his job.
Come on,
It'd
come
be
on, guys.
impossible. Come on.
Let's go. But no, I do. I mean, if it's something, it's usually about the music being too loud.
Yeah.
It's the it was just boring. This is a fun. You guys, this is something. But I'm planning to do a video on something like this kind of video idea. But one of the things that I get the most, one of the top comments I get is, "Oh my gosh, Jordan, your paddle spinning is so annoying, and it's distracting."
You mean
my-"
like tossing it in your hand, like tennis
you
balls?
guys haven't seen any of those?
No.
Okay.
I mean, if I have seen it, I don't notice it, and it doesn't.
No.
bother me.
So I get like so many comments on. I twirl my paddle during points.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I'm instructing, when I'm playing or whatever, and people, I've gotten several comments like, "Jordan, I totally love your review, but twirling your paddle is just." It's just so distracting, and it's just really taking a lot out of this instructional video. If you were not to do that, I would watch more of your content.
Here's what's so funny. I see comments like that. I don't know that my channel has necessarily gotten those, but I see them all over YouTube. And I watch a ton of YouTube. Like it's part of my job. Like I have to watch a lot of videos. And every time, I have never thought to myself something like that where I'm like, wow, if this guy would just stop doing this one tiny thing, I would just love them way more. I'm like, why does it ruin your day that he's spinning his paddle? Like the content is still good content.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was just wondering if you guys ever. I guess you guys haven't noticed that, huh?
We haven't noticed that.
Not on yours.
Yeah.
All right.
I always get this.
It is a habit.
Yeah.
I do it a lot.
There's this one guy in my comments. He comes through all the time, and he always wants to mention something about my stature of me being small in whatever video.
Wait, like what?
Like, oh man, he's so small. Like,
no.
I was like, man, Will would be a much better player if he was like all the time. Like this guy always comes back.
Dang, dude.
Like, there's one time in the Leia Jansen video when I was standing next to Leia, and Leia's tall.
Yeah.
And I'm short. I would say I'm a short
Leia's
guy.
not tall.
I mean, 5'10", 5'11", that's decently tall for a
no
girl.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like 5'9".
And that's my height.
no
She's taller
way.
than me. She's taller than me.
Yeah.
And I'm
She's-
5'9".
Yeah.
She's that tall.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Come stand next to her.
I did not know that.
And I think that same guy was like,
Like
I
a
take
midget?
back. Yeah, no. He was just like, I take back all the mean things I said about Will. But he said something along those lines that because I didn't realize he was actually as short as he is. And I was like, okay. I mean,
Hey,
it is what it is.
I have to put everything through kind of like a filter because I would say probably every video I get at least one negative thing on something. And it's like, okay, first filter, is there anything in this that there is some truth to? If there is some truth to it, is it something you can change, you care to change, or is helpful to change? If none of those, forget it.
Yeah.
Ones, I wish I had more examples, but ones that are just like,
What's your most common negative comment on paddle reviews? Like, if I were to guess, like, man, what could it be? It's not too long, or like what's a?
It's probably along the lines like, oh, he's in 6-0's pocket or something. He's sponsored
really?
by them.
actually, I haven't.
Or the
I
robot.
used to get that. Like, people always used to say stuff like, oh, like, Selkirk clearly pays him off. And here's what's funny, though. It comes in waves. Whenever there's a paddle I'm, like, really liking, everyone's like, oh, he's got to be paid by them. And then, like, it just keeps switching. Like, if people only knew how much money I leave on the table because I won't do stuff like that with brands, it's like, I will happily promote.
Tell them how much money you're leaving on the table.
Dude, I
this
wish-
table to be exact. Tell them, Chris.
Too
Tell
much.
'em.
It's
Too much.
It's definitely in the tens of thousands. Like, it's.
You hear that?
a lot
You
of
heard
money.
that first here, people.
Yeah.
All right, you heard it first.
So I will say I do see
And if
some
you wanna,
comments like that.
okay, If you want to give me any of those tens of thousands.
Oh, please. I mean, you want to take those.
You just have to review
But then you
certain
just
paddles.
you just boost my paddle sales because everyone's like, oh, I'll go the unbiased guy. That's where I'll get all my money then.
I think I just came up with my slogan.
What's that? Biased
Briones
paddle reviews?
Pickleball. Briones Pickleball. Most unbiased paddle review ever.
Good luck with that one. I'd love for someone to take that title from me.
Oh, shoot.
It's really funny when I'm doing some reviews because, eventually I meet some of these owners.
Oh.
And it's not awkward.
Okay, what? I got this. Oh, go ahead. Finish it. My
It's
bad.
just like sometimes you forget when you're saying things like, oh yeah, a real person made this. And I'm not being a jerk to be a jerk. I'm just speaking it how I see it. But sometimes I see the person and they'll be like, people say this to me all the time now. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm still going to do my job.
Dude,
but
if
like,
because of Chris.
If a paddle sucks, it sucks. Okay?
yeah, for sure.
Like the 001, okay? Selkirk, all right?
Yeah.
Wasn't the greatest paddle in the world. The
that-
003, though.
003 is solid.
We stepped it up.
001 was not good.
001 might be, it's up there in like the highest trash paddles.
But, we're getting up to the 006. Stay tuned for that. Probably both of us will be talking about that soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
My video is going to come out 1 minute sooner than yours.
what's
Chris is
one?
on it.
Okay. And we're all friends here. But one
Yeah.
of the things that I was like, dude, I have to get this Perseus review out before Chris. Did you see what I did, though, right?
Now, what did you do? Did you post it 1 minute before the embargo minute thing lifted?
No, I waited right after the reveal, and then I posted. I don't know if you guys even know that I posted both at the same time.
Oh, didn't know
That might have not been the best strategy.
I purposely did not do both at the same time because
Yeah.
I was worried it would cannibalize a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? I was actually stressing out a little bit that
Yeah.
day because I was doing some really fine tweaking or whatever, and I had everything timed, and I was like, it's going to be ready to go
Yep.
at 10 when I can post this. YouTube was being a super slow hamster that day, and the after you
That
upload the
helped me out.
processing that happens,
helped me out.
it was like 10 or 15 minutes late, and I was like,
upset.
YouTube. I was like,
So check this out too.
He called me.
For those of you who are roasting, or my paddle reviews here, I'm gonna get better and better, and I am gonna be the best. I'm going to try my best to be the most unbiased as possible from a coach's perspective. I think that's what I have to offer.
That is good.
exactly. That's
that is
the
your thing.
niche.
That's what I have to
that you
offer.
can offer, and you should own that. That should be
So
your thing.
I don't know. I was going somewhere. I don't know. I was going somewhere with that. It hit a dead
Fizzled
end.
out?
It
It's
hit a
okay.
dead end there.
It happens.
But yeah, man. So I beat you to it. But
That'll never happen again. I promise.
but obviously, what's funny is like, yeah, your Perseus paddle review definitely way overtook mine, which is fair. Which is fair.
Someone was in my Discord community. They were joking. They were like,
Did they say something about
Chris's Perseus review has 3 times the amount of views as the next highest video.
crazy.
Oh, dang.
Which was probably yours because there actually weren't. There was maybe 4 videos that actually launched.
Dude, no, I was surprised. I don't know if you guys went down that rabbit tail, but there's a lot of review videos on that drop.
Huh? Maybe I'll have
There's
to go
at
dig a little
least-
deeper.
There's at least 6.
Wow. I don't know if I'd call 6 a lot for one of the hottest releases of the year.
Well, you said there was only a few.
Yeah.
No, there's at least 6 to 9.
Sure.
I would say. But anyways, and here's a disagreement, right?
Yeah.
So, honestly, I like that paddle.
Yeah.
I thought it played in my hands. What my honest thoughts? That was my thoughts, and we disagreed. And let's talk
Well,
about
here's the thing.
let's talk about that a little bit
Yeah.
because you didn't give it the best review there.
So here's what
do you
I
think
think
here, Chris?
people, and maybe I just these are things I think about. Maybe I need to make this more clear when I'm doing a review. But it's not that the paddle is bad. I actually think the Perseus is a solid performing paddle.
Very good.
Obviously,
what
a
I
lot
said.
of the Yola pros,
Thank you.
they're using it. They are winning tons of medals. They're not getting worse by using it. But I think what happens is you have to look at the whole landscape and go, okay, they are charging $250 for this.
Yep.
And there are paddles that in the tests I have ran and through my experience of hitting paddles, I believe perform better overall. Some things that you can actually measure, some things you can't.
Yeah,
And they're cheaper.
Okay. Yeah.
So for the price.
Price is big. This is an interesting question just by you saying that. Obviously, there's all these measurable things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And And I think I'll find different ways to explain things, but measurable as in spin. And we talked. We had a whole
conversation at dinner.
And then like, I don't know, what else can you measure, just off the bat? Like,
I mean, it's people are doing a power test now where they have a radar gun and they're basically doing the same thing. 10 serves, you average it. Okay,
but anyways, my point is there's measurable things, but I think there are a few like because. Obviously, they're getting paid. Like a lot of the top players are using the Perseus now, but I think there's a few unmeasurable things
for sure.
Like what?
That make so. Well, let me ask you guys this: do you guys think there's any unmeasurable things that you can't really measure, but
has a big impact?
You know what I mean?
I mean, you can't really measure control.
Yeah, this is true because control. The definition of how I define control is being able to do what you want when you want, like however often, right? And that's different for people, right? Because some people would define control as being quick and predictable. Like if it comes off the paddle face fast, right? That is control to them, but you might like something that's more soft and more plush. That may be control to you. So that's very subjective.
Yeah, so something that I said in the Perseus review, like for rolls and like, I'm talking about like topspin.
Topspin rolls.
It just felt so good on that end. But
wait till you try some of these other paddles, and you're gonna be like,
well, as I try more, I'll go back and compare.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Take notes.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I was going.
I think the thing too is like, at the end of the day, a lot of it just depends what you want to put the most weight into. So like, I try and think as broad as I can for as many people and give people as many scenarios as like, could this be for you? Like if you don't care about money, well, obviously price doesn't matter. Like go buy the most expensive thing. But for some people, money really like
money matters.
And it matters. So it's like,
for sure.
You know, you don't have to go buy the most expensive paddle to be good at the game. For sure.
What under $50 paddle do you guys recommend?
Oh, there's nothing.
Under 50?
Well, you have to recommend something. See, this is the space I'm going to get into. This is where they're dropping the ball here.
No, I haven't played with anything under 50 in a long time.
Here's what I say. If it's under 50, go buy anything. It doesn't
matter.
What
under 100 paddle do you recommend?
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Got some?
Can you go up to 100? Like $99?
Yes, I said under 100.
I'm just making sure.
What is under 100? I don't know.
I don't know if you're thinking like $70, $80. Okay,
no, under 100.
My default go-tos, even though I haven't hit it a ton yet, I just from briefly hitting, I can already tell the Vatic Prism is good.
Yep.
The Rhombus R1.16 is good.
How much is the Rhombus?
So well, it's technically it's 120, but with a code.
But with
that doesn't count.
Discount, it totally counts. It's $100 then.
So you're talking about just 100 retail.
Well, look, you guys could come to my house and I'll sell a paddle for $10.
Well, okay, but but that's a little different.
Discount code, you know.
At that point, it's probably going to be the Vatic Prism, and I'm probably just blanking on a couple others. But really, until recently, the $100 price point was not very competitive, and you were dealing with like a Franklin signature.
Yeah.
I would recommend that paddle to no one these days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's better than a wooden paddle.
Yeah, it's better than a wooden paddle, but there are other paddles in that same price range that are
way
leaps and bounds better.
Okay. What about you, Will?
All right, so Vatic Prism, bread and butter drip.
How much is that one?
It's like 95.
Oh.
Yeah.
The drip is really good.
You tried that?
Yeah, I have.
Is it good?
The drip is actually a pretty good paddle. The spin is not good, but like if you...
Is it better than the old Ben Johns Franklin?
I'd probably say it's the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
maybe a little less.
That's a pretty good. I mean,
no, it's
you know,
it's solid.
That's a solid.
Yeah,
it's a solid paddle.
Wild Monkeys Prima or Alpha. That's like $99, and like you said, the Prism. I would say Gearbox GH7 and CP line.
CP7, yeah.
CP7 line.
Okay.
All
right. I was just asking for one. All right. We don't have to go down the list of 20 paddles.
SOK Evos.
Okay. SOK.
Okay, I forgot about that.
SOK.
I would put
Evos
that in
are
there
good.
too. Yeah.
Come on, guys. Selkirk.
We're talking to the paddle guys.
This is how you guys know I'm not a Selkirk show. I literally forgot their $100 price point paddle.
You literally forgot the best paddles under $100. Wow, that was
good.
in sync too.
The best.
That's pretty funny. Well, what about you? I mean, you might not have hit that many.
You know what? I haven't.
He's gonna say the Z5.
I haven't.
Oh, don't.
I haven't hit enough under Under 100.
When you have,
I can't
when,
say. Look, I'm unbiased, everyone, and I'm truthful here.
when
Haven't
you
hit
see
enough.
students with a Z5, do you just go, please stop anything? I'll give you a paddle.
I'm not at that point yet.
Oh, I hate that
You know,
thing
well,
so much.
no. This is what I'm seriously. Look, I'm a coach.
Yeah.
I'm a coach first.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I don't even look at. That's interesting. I've never thought about. I don't look at paddles.
Never? You never see them with like a wooden paddle and go, maybe anything
that's
else?
the only thing. That's
Okay.
the only. So I mean, I coach players with off brands, and I'm
Sure,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh,
doesn't
that's
matter.
cool. I've never seen that, but dude, I'm fixing or
I'm improving your game.
Yeah, I mean, the
I'm
paddle definitely.
I'm working with you. you
Yeah,
know?
the paddle definitely comes after, but man,
Yeah.
if there's a paddle that like I could eradicate from the market, it'd be the Z5.
That's so funny. My uncle like loves that paddle.
I wish it didn't exist.
Wait, the uncle that we play with in
Yeah,
Arizona,
dude.
What was your uncle's name again?
Dan.
Wait, does he still use it?
He uses
Okay,
he uses
thank
Selkirk
goodness.
paddles now,
Okay, thank goodness.
but he loved that paddle, dude.
Here's the
The
thing.
Z5.
The Z5, it's again, it all comes down to the price. The thing is upwards of $90.
So I mean, yeah. What's so funny is that paddle was top technology. I remember when I was playing.
It's so funny to think.
And that was, you guys weren't in the game
Yeah, I
yet.
wasn't even in the game
Yeah,
yet.
so I started 8 years ago. The Z5 was like the carbon coming out, dude. That thing was like, dude,
Yo, Chris is
Z5.
dying right now. Chris is dying.
Dude, they're like, they skipped Z1, 2, 3, and 4. They went right to 5 and like,
They're like,
this is,
we're going 5 years ahead for you guys.
this is top tier stuff. What do you guys see in the paddle industry? Because you're not engineers, but what do you foresee, technology wise? That like, how can it? Do you see it ever coming? Do you see a non-carbon surface?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what would it be?
I don't know what it would be, but
Okay.
I just don't think that is the perfect
Yeah.
thing.
There'll be some sort of crazy composite.
Yeah.
These paddles will eventually start to look like tennis rackets or squash rackets or whatever.
I think we're pretty far from
We're far from that?
optimizing our perfect paddles.
Well, it's really so. Here's my take. It's really interesting because I've had Brett Warner on the podcast. Do you guys know who that is?
I've heard the name.
Okay, but he.
Wait. He's the paddle fix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
he's deconstructed him and his team thousands of paddles.
Yeah.
So he's pretty well versed in materials.
Yeah.
Where was I going with this? Anyways, here's the thing. With the limits on the game,
Yeah.
this is what I was like asking him, and it's true. Like, if we're limiting on grit, if we're limiting on power, if we're limiting on everything, I don't see it could. The only thing I see getting substantially better is durability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see like if they're limiting grit, if they're limiting everything, there's always going to be a limit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I don't see it getting unless they change the rules. Do you guys agree with that statement or not?
I think there's probably still innovation that can be done within the rules that would probably exceed some of what we're doing right now
yeah,
by quite
I
a
see
bit.
it
Like
from now, but not.
thermoforming paddles
Yeah.
hit really hard, and I'm sure people would have gone like, how much harder can we make it hit? But they're
Yeah.
pretty darn good.
Here's the
think it's
question.
true.
Yeah, here's the question I asked him too. So grit, it's already there's a certain whatever parameter. For power, here's my question. So remember delamination. So here's a good topic. That was a huge thing, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why was it a huge thing? Because the power off the paddle.
Yeah.
So this is one of my questions to him, and this is one I'll throw at you guys. What if there is some material that the grit is totally illegal? What if there's some material that can basically have the power of a delaminated power?
Paddle?
A paddle.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
I'm sure there is something.
that can be. That's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Definitely possible.
I would not be surprised if there was something that we're not using right now, but exists.
Do you think that would destroy the game? Is that what you're kind of
Well,
getting to?
I mean, I played a couple with the dude. It pops. Dude.
It pops.
It's insane.
So like it would that would substantially change the game if
It would
the
change
power,
the meta of the game.
I mean, hands like I don't know.
Yeah, your
And
hands would
I
be
think
so
they might have
crazy.
to limit now that they may go into limiting power. I don't know.
I mean, that's where the ball would come into place. They would just change the ball that you use.
I see,
So
but
a
I also
softer
don't think
ball?
they want to do that. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, just talking to USAP, it seems like they're relatively against that idea. But I do think the EVA foam paddles and these core crushed and delaminated paddles have given us a glimpse into what this game could look like if you let certain things get out of hand. And I think the enjoyment for a lot of people, or the entry level, would be so much harder if the standard became a paddle that could hit as hard as a delaminated paddle. Like, there are people that I was playing that the game became much less fun because they were using one. It was just rec games. But like,
it's kind of like the spin serve in a way, huh?
I could see that.
Yeah.
But like,
Well,
I'd agree.
We can go the opposite way. Like, let's say instead of equipment, like 5 years from now, what do you think the game of pickleball will look like in terms of athletic ability, skill?
Sepik Takra. They'll be using taping it to their foot.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what?
Sepak.
Do you know what that sport is? It's
yes.
It's basically volleyball with your feet.
No, those guys are incredible.
Yeah, I was just joking that like you'd put the paddle on your feet and be doing backflips.
No. So how do I see the game changing?
Yeah. How do you see, like, what is the ideal player? What are the techniques and the shots? There's probably shots that we see or that haven't been developed or invented.
So this is, now I hope the sport proves me wrong, but I think that the fundamental shots are set in stone.
Okay.
We have arrived in that. Now new shots like, Zane, like tomahawk and things like that. I think Scorpion,
the Batman, the filth.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about this. But I think we're there as in how, fundamentally, I don't know if any crazy new, I don't think there's not gonna be any crazy new shots that are gonna be consistently hit.
Do you think we'll see, like, okay, I think we would all agree in the last 3 years, dinking has gone down. You're seeing people speed up quicker. Do you think?
So I was gonna get there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Let's hear it.
Let's slow down a little bit.
I'm the coach here.
No, but so seriously, it's going to get hands are gonna get faster, drives are gonna get better. It's just gonna amplify, right? It's just gonna amplify. Hand battles are gonna get quicker with technology rising. So, but this is what I also think a lot too. A lot of people will say, "Oh yeah, dinks will probably not be here in the future." That's definitely
crazy.
untrue.
I mean, it has to exist.
Definitely
There's
untrue.
no way.
You can just and just to kind of show a very good example of that is the Johns, how good they are at forcing their opponent to do that.
Yeah.
So dinks aren't going away, people. You got to work on them, and the game will get faster though. So everyone's hand's gonna have to get better. Serves, returns, everything will just get better and better. But I don't see any new shots coming in that are going to take over. Maybe some tricky, more efficient shots, maybe. But I don't see anything big, no.
Chris, go ahead, and then I'm going to chime in.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I'm curious. So I've seen you play.
Yeah.
You've been messing with the left hand. Do you think that will be a shot where it would be somewhere in the future, 5-10 years from now, where to play at an advanced level, you have to have an opposite-handed roll?
You know what? That is not. I can't say that wouldn't be a thing.
Okay.
I've been really efficient with. So we played some rec games. Check it out. I'm featured in the new Scorpius paddle review on Pickleball Studios channel there. And he tried to pick out the points where I missed shots, but there wasn't many. All right. So, anyways, but I would say, you know what? I haven't thought about that, Will. But maybe there's advantages of hitting from a different wing to like
to create opportunities, because everybody's getting so good. I mean, look at it. Look, Ben Johns can already play both hands. He's like a 5-0 player with his left hand.
Yeah, but he doesn't use it.
He doesn't use it. All right, Jack Monroe.
Yeah.
We've seen some players switch their left hand for some shots.
Yeah.
You've seen Catherine Parento do that.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen Catherine.
Well, she did it for a drop.
She did for a drop in the middle.
But this is all anomalies, right? We're not seeing it
consistently.
used.
Right.
Okay,
But you could see a potential future where that may be a thing.
I think so. For certain shots. No, it's always going to be dominant.
Okay.
You're always, because switching, and people ask me about switching hands and paddles, switching hands during points. Is it good? Is it bad? I say there's nothing wrong with it, but for efficiency wise and stuff, you're always going to have a dominant hand.
Yeah.
And for most players in a coaching perspective, most players that switch to the left hands because they have poor footwork, right?
This is true.
So that's the main one. But I think it could be possible.
Okay, and then I'm going to ask you the next follow question to that. A grip. Let's look at Riley Nimitz. He does not use he essentially uses a Western grip.
Yes.
Pancake grip.
Maybe between semi and Western. I'm not.
Whatever.
It's in that range.
It's in that range.
So,
it is.
This is a good topic, by the way.
More unorthodox than most players out there. Do you see that becoming the norm 5-10 years? Like a new pickleball player, would you teach them the regular continental grip, or could they start with that grip and be successful?
There's a lot of debates here in the coaches world, if you are not aware of continental versus Eastern. There's a lot of people that are teaching the Eastern grip.
Yeah. Do you mostly do continental?
Well, I'm gonna.
Okay.
He's getting there.
I'm
He's
getting
getting there.
guys.
You did what I did.
Guys, you guys are jumping the gun around here.
Because you're slow, just like you are on the court.
Oh, are you talking to Chris? I know you ain't talking to me, dude.
Talking about
All right.
He's gonna destroy me tomorrow.
Go on Pickleball Will's channel and then see our old singles match that you edited, dude.
It's true.
Okay. So, anyways, no. What was the question?
It was, do you teach a new player?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of coaches now that are teaching Eastern. Shoot, I wish we had a paddle, but
I'll go get one real quick.
It's actually gonna be hard to see.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
It'll be fine. But I still teach continental.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that is a good preferred grip at the non-volley zone. Now, do I see benefits of the Eastern and semi-Western? Yes. But it's always a risk-reward thing. And I'm not going to teach someone to play like Riley.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say never. If they have that kind of ability or used to that grip, maybe they can. But that's a huge anomaly.
Yeah.
So this is my reasoning here, and you guys know who Kyle McKenzie is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
His podcast will be coming out soon. He's probably one of the best coaches out there. Me and him, we have a lot of things in common. Mm-hmm. But we were talking about the Eastern grip, and obviously with the Eastern grip, you can get to that chicken wing a little bit easier. You can close that paddle face on your forehand side. At higher levels, I think that if you're going to maybe adjust to that kind of grip, I think that could be very beneficial. As a newer player, I would not teach Eastern grip because you're going to get mostly backhands on your volleys. And
Eastern's tougher.
With the Eastern, if you're getting mostly backhands because players are banging and driving right at you, if you have a weak backhand volley, then you're going to be done.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of my reasoning. Now it's not black and white, but
also
I'm still teaching Eastern. I'm still teaching continental.
I think probably and I'm not a coach, but in the grand scheme of, that's for sure.
You're going to get coached though.
That's right. In the grand scheme of things, for someone learning pickleball, continental versus Eastern, I feel like it largely wouldn't matter that much, and continental will be easier.
Yeah,
but if we're gonna get more advanced in the future, I don't think it's that hard to just learn Eastern. I started continental and now I do Eastern.
I mean, they're close. They're close, so they're close enough. So it's not a huge difference. But
let me ask you this. This is a good question. Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes this doesn't happen often. To be honest, I think the majority of the time reviewers of paddles tend to share the same opinion. Small differences in there.
We're gonna disagree on this podcast here. Let's get some disagreement.
But do you ever have? Okay, clearly. But where coaches, like you see a coach teach this thing, you're like, I would never. Like, why do they think that is correct?
Yeah, all the time.
And now, how often are you like, I'm for sure right or something?
How often are you interacting with them? I mean,
All the
obviously
time.
with McKenzie.
Yeah.
Wait, how often am I sure I'm right?
Yeah, all the time.
I mean, yeah, because I'm confident in what I teach, I guess.
Sure. But do you have these debates with the people, or do you just stay out of it?
No, I don't. I haven't debated any coaches on anything.
Well, also, I feel like coaching is
it's definitely not a plug and play too, right?
Yes.
So as a good coach, and
can't use the same thing for everyone.
I pride myself to being a good coach. There's so many factors. So this is why when I say that, what we just talked about, I'll never teach someone to play like Riley Newman, and I backtracked.
Yeah.
I may come across that.
Yeah.
So
what you're saying is that you're a coach and you're teaching to the player, because if it's working for them.
Yeah, of course. But just in general though, overall thing
it's not your go-to.
It's not. No. Overall thing, I will never say never about anything. So when coaches are saying something that has to be one way, I would steer away.
Yeah.
Because there's so many variables.
Yeah.
There's so many variables. So
there's so many situations.
That's what I would say.
Right. It'd be interesting to see coaches like just debating certain topics.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
sure
there's
could get
some
pretty passionate.
there's some undebatables. I mean, we can debate like certain things, like
What's a give me some non-debatable.
non-debate. Yeah,
that
oh,
all
this is
coach
good.
goes
Yeah, all non-debatables.
dinking ain't going away.
So non-debatable. Okay, so let me try to think of like the
tomahawk, of
But
course.
there's beginner players, and there's players that do that all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's as you're developing your game, that's a great shot to have, but you cannot. You're only going to get to a certain level. Now there's anomalies, but you're only going to get to a certain level by doing this all the time. You have to learn.
Mm-hmm.
You have to add and learn a regular backhand, right? We look at a Jeff Warnick or someone who can do that.
Gosh.
But like that's not that's very, very rare.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, 5 years from now, it might be the common thing. It might be. That's what I was getting to when I was asking you, will people play like Riley Newman? Because will it become the successful meta?
So we'll see. But my answer, and you can, we'll test this in 5 years. But there's no way.
We'll come back on the pod 5 years.
Yeah. There's no way that Riley Newman's
His
the
technique.
semi-western to western grip. I don't think there's no way that's going to be across the board with pros.
I see.
I don't see it.
Do you think you'll see more of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely see more of it. It's still going to be a low percentage, under 10%.
Under 10. Oh wait, you forgot to answer the question. My question.
What was it?
Do you primarily do continental or eastern?
Oh yeah.
For your grip?
So continental. I don't want to give away too many secrets. You're gonna have to come from a 2-day intensive here. But no, continental at the line. Now I will shift and adjust depending on
who you're
positioning,
Okay.
the shot I'm hitting. Anytime I'm hitting a roll, like forehand, backhand, I shift into Eastern forehand, Eastern backhand when necessary. So, but in general, I'm continental. Now I will definitely experiment more with the Eastern to see if I see the benefits. It could be more efficient, but continental is still feels good to me.
I see.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you do?
I'm mostly Eastern these days.
Mostly Eastern. You for the backhand too?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have noticed not as maybe as much of an issue right now, but I did notice when I was switching to it that like one-handed backhand punches were like a lot harder to get it down. Obviously, because of how you're holding it, you got to contort your wrist more.
Yep.
Now I'd say I'm mostly over, and also I'm trying to use two hands more, which helps alleviate that issue some.
Yeah.
But it's weird. It was never really an intentional thing either. Like my grip kind of just
Naturally shifted.
it just kind of went there, and I was like, oh, this just feels good. Now when I go pure continental, there are certain shots that I'm like, oh gosh, this
feels weird.
It feels really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar boat right now as I've strayed towards Eastern to
Strayed two?
two.
Okay.
Two Eastern, and now that I'm playing better and better players and at a higher level, it's they're hitting it back so fast I don't have time to switch and then
Switch to what?
switch my grip. So I'm Eastern. If they attack my backhand, because my backhand with Eastern grip is weaker.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And so that was my thought. But this is the thing. If you out there listening or watching want to experiment with Eastern, you're gonna have to learn Eastern grip at all times.
Right. Exactly.
Like because you're not gonna have time to switch.
Exactly. I don't have time to switch.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're 3-5 at best.
Yes.
Maybe.
You have time to switch. No, but before when I was playing 4-0, 4-5, I had time to switch. But now when I'm playing higher level players, I don't have time to switch. And it's so funny. I would have thought that my grip would then move back towards continental, but now I'm figuring out other ways to compensate.
Okay, like
two hands.
Yeah.
The left hand now kind of compensates more.
Yeah.
And now sometimes, with the two hands now I do resets with two hands, but also I've noticed that on the kitchen line, I don't stand directly parallel as much anymore.
Parallel.
So
Really?
we'll
look at that tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll look at there's a little bit of a stagger.
Yeah. Okay.
Like this to protect my left
Got it.
side a little bit, and that gives me just a little bit more like punch or whatnot. So it's just interesting to see how my game has developed. But obviously, that's why we're going to the intensive. I'm like, is this the right way to do this? Is the game that I'm playing with the people that I'm playing has pushed the meta of my technique and my skills one way, and I don't know if it's the right way.
Well, I'll for those of you who are.
You didn't see that.
For those of you, keep that in there. We're not editing anything out, right? For those of you who are wondering, so Chris and Will are, we said in the beginning of the podcast, but they're entering one of my 2-day intensives. It's going to be really fun, guys.
Dude, I'm super excited.
I'm
'cause
really,
you know what's
I'm
gonna
honest.
happen?
What?
I get to be one of those mean YouTuber comments. I get to comment on this podcast and be like, he tried to teach me this and it just made me angry.
Unbiased or biased. Okay, but,
No, but
seriously,
I'm excited.
I am super excited. I'm glad you guys made this trip to Colorado. I know it was time from families and things like that. I'm excited to work with you. We have a good, solid 4-5 group.
Yeah.
Dude, well, you know what was really funny going into this?
What?
Like, because I've thought this anytime I have been taught or coached anything in life. My immediate thought goes like, what if they can't help me? Like, what if I'm not teachable? And here's the thing.
This is hold on, real quick. Real quick. This is okay. I'm saying this up front, everybody. If I can't improve Chris's game, I quit YouTube. Okay, that's how confident I am in my abilities. But seriously, if he doesn't get better, if his duper starts to go down,
And I told him it's never gone down. It always goes up.
if his duper continues to go down, you guys, I'm gonna have to change careers.
See, and this is what I'm so excited. There's several reasons I'm excited because since I haven't had formal coaching, I'm at a point in my game now where I know what's weak, but I don't necessarily know how to fix it. Or I bet there are, I'm sure through this intensive
More
things-
efficient ways.
Yeah, more efficient ways. Or there are things that are weak and I didn't know they were weak because I just don't know what I don't know.
Yep, that's right.
You're going to get a
That's
glowing
right.
testimonial from Chris afterwards, hopefully.
Well, hey, I'm not gonna force him into saying
whatever.
good stuff, but
Oh, he knows.
I want you
He
guys
knows
to-
I speak it how it is.
yeah, I want you guys to be honest. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I just had one other
Yeah.
question. Can you share a success story that you feel like really proud of that you had?
Too many, all of them.
Yeah. So I get that. I mean, there's like, okay, let me just different things.
Scenarios, levels?
Yeah, scenarios. Obviously, there's the comments on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
People who are so appreciative.
Yep.
I mean, I get comments a lot like, hey, I've been watching your videos for X amount of months and my game has went to this. Like, I get those all the time. Clinics and coaching, you know, I've been doing that a lot over the past couple years. I get emails and text messages over, you know, people who I've worked with sending me like on the gold medal stand and things like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I get that a lot. I think that's really cool. As I'm doing these intensives now, players are just, I spend a lot. I know it's only 2 days, but we spend a full 2 days together.
Well, when you told, so
Yeah.
I'm sure you had told me and I just forgot. But when we got here and I was like, yes, like kind of what's the plan for each day? And you were like, 8 to 2 is when we're just playing. And I was like,
Yeah.
8 to 2. I was like, Jordan, that's 6 hours. I was like, that's a long. I was like,
Well,
when
we
you
won't-
said
we won't go-
intensive,
we'll have some breaks.
Yeah, we'll have some breaks. But when you said intensive, you weren't kidding.
Yeah, and then we have some. We'll do some stuff after too, but I don't know. So with these intensive I've been doing, it's been really great to get to know people on a personal level.
Yeah.
Outside of pickleball.
Yeah.
Everyone's coming from a different. I mean, all across the country, right? They're coming from different walks of life. They're coming different ages, different levels. It's one of the most fulfilling things that I'm doing right now.
What is that moment like for you?
It's cool, man.
When you're teaching, because I'm sure this happens all the time, but you're teaching something and it finally like clicks in their head and you can just like see it like it's happening and they're loving like that has to be like one of the best moments, right?
Yeah. It's great. It's great. And then especially after an intensive, I send them all the follow-up stuff and it's just like the positive words and testimonials that I get back.
You know what? What's going to be the ultimate test for this?
What?
Will and I have at least one. There will probably be other golden qualifiers that we're going to go to.
Yeah.
One of them is in August. So we have a lot of time to implement what we learn after this.
Well, what 1 month?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of training
End
if
of
we
August.
train consistently. Yeah, end of
Well,
August, so
you
2 months.
You got to get on the court, Will. And you drill, man.
Well, this is definitely a Will thing more than me.
Yeah, here's the thing, though, and I tell this to everyone. You're not going to change your game in 2 days.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
But you have what you need to change your game.
But there's so many things that, or even if it's a shorter or longer list, that are things that, you'll know coming out of exact. So it's my job to do my job. and I do my job really well.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
And then, but then it does really, at the end of the day,
Come down to
Will you put in the work?
what you put in work. But the players that are coming to me are very serious.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, you know, that they're super serious about their game. They're working really hard, and they either want to improve, or they've gotten to a point in their game where they want to know what's next, but they're not sure what to do.
I mean, that's
work on.
basically where I am. And
Yeah.
you'll get the best glowing review ever if we get a golden ticket.
Oh my
and one of these things,
Dude,
I'll plaster it everywhere.
Shoot.
Thank you, Jordan Briones.
Okay, let me see if I could
what'd
pay
be
off
super
all the
exciting?
people in their bracket. Maybe if I risk reward, I don't know. Maybe that'll work.
Well, here's the thing. I'm sure there are people in our brackets, or have been, that they watch our stuff and they're like, I want to shut these YouTubers up. I'm going to prove these guys are clowns. I'm sure that's the thing.
Shoot.
I would not be surprised. But no, I also think if you're doing this like a year from now, it would be super cool to like do another one in a year.
Yeah.
And just like after the next level up stage and be like, dude, last time kind of here's what I learned. I don't know. I'm very excited.
Well, the really cool thing about it too is like there's several groups that, I mean, I've had a lot of good feedback, but there's several groups that are coming back, and they want to come back in 6 months or a year, and
That's awesome.
Wow.
and like, so so that's, to me, that's really like,
Well, if you want people coming back,
really cool.
then you know you did a good job.
you know,
Yeah.
so that's, enough about me.
That's testimonial.
That's not what we're talking about here.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, hey, it involves us, and we're pretty excited for it. But
I am excited to see you guys, and I want you to take it all in, and I want you to get some good sleep. I know this is late, we're doing a late pod, but it's gonna be a fun. I'm actually really excited. It's gonna be so fun.
Well, here's what I think is so. It was funny the first time I met you back, like a month or two ago, whatever it was, probably 2 months.
How did we meet?
February?
We were just
We just met at my house.
we were in Arizona.
We met
last year.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I think it was just like, hey, we're in the area. We talked about doing a pod, or it was just like,
I hit him up and was
Sure.
like, yeah, hey Jordan, you got free time?
yeah,
Slid into those DMs.
yeah, exactly.
right.
Slid into the DMs. But it's so funny meeting people that you've watched online, because obviously when I got into pickleball, like I saw a bunch of your videos, and it's like so funny when you finally meet the person, because you know what's really funny about after meeting you?
Oh, here we
It's
go.
very similar
okay.
to how I think Will and other people have spoken about me in my older
Yes.
videos. I think it's getting better.
Yeah.
But people are like, wow, Chris, you are way funnier in person.
Oh,
They're
really?
like, in your videos, like you just seem so serious and kind of like, over the top or whatever. And then they're like, they meet me and they're like, you're really funny.
Yeah.
And this is like a consistent thing I have heard
Well,
as long as
you know
I've been
what
on the
that
internet.
says? You just need to add some, and you said you're adding more of that.
And I am adding more of it. But it's
Good, man.
funny because I felt very similar when I met you.
Oh, what did you think?
I was like,
I was funnier?
I was like, wow, this guy's so funny.
Yeah,
Jordan's
so-
a little zesty.
You
Well,
definitely have your YouTube.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
all do.
Yeah,
But, like, I was
I'm
like,
a
why-
really I like to have fun, man.
You do. Like,
I
when
like
we're
to
on the
have
court,
fun.
I'm like, yeah, this guy likes to,
Oh yeah,
he'll goof around. Like, he'll go lefties.
yeah, I like to have fun, man.
So it's like,
Yeah.
it's just super funny. Like, I got to experience the other side of it. And I was like, wow,
Yeah,
huh,
yeah.
this guy's pretty cool.
And you guys told me this last time.
Yeah.
But I've been doing this longer than you guys, obviously. But one of the not cool things, just one of the weird things. I think it was really weird for me at first, but then it just got really normal. Like I would meet people, because when I started coaching full time, and people would say, "Wow, I've been watching your videos for like 5 years, or like for so long," and then
seeing
it's
you in
like
person.
this is what they say. I feel like I know you. I get that all the time.
Oh, 100%.
And I know you guys are starting to, you've been
Definitely
getting that for a
experiencing
while,
that,
but
yeah.
that's just, I don't know, man. It's just so cool to be in that. And I don't do that for that, but that's just the result
No, 100%.
of like what we do on YouTube.
I think one of the things
Yeah.
that has maybe it's one of the most rewarding things when someone, specifically when I get an email, people will email me and they'll say stuff about like, dude, like your videos, like they're super entertaining. I always look forward to them. And one that I got recently was this guy, I have to paraphrase a bunch of it, but he was essentially like, dude, he's like, when I watch your videos, he's like, one of the things I love is you have this like self-deprecating humor where you're like, I'm not that good at the game. I'm a 3-5, but like you kind of act like one of us, but we obviously all know you're a good player, but it feels so relatable watching you.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
I actually like hearing that because
Yeah.
I don't
Try and
ever
do.
want to be this thing where I'm like, oh, I'm above like all these
Yeah.
people. Like today, we were literally at a park hitting with three. I was like, we just showed up to play, and they're like, hey, do you want to play doubles? I mean, we played left-handed, and it was fun for everyone. I don't know if they knew that, but
Did anyone recognize you at the park?
no, they didn't.
Oh, okay.
It was a lot of newer people. People were playing singles, and they,
Okay.
like pretty new. But I don't want to get to that point where I'm like, nah, I'm
Yeah.
too good for this. And so when people tell me they recognize and see that, I feel like, okay, like I'm
doing my
doing a
job.
good job.
Have you
I'm
guys
meeting my personal
Have you guys
brand.
gotten asked autographs yet?
yes.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Got a lot of pictures. I
Yeah.
have had autographs, not a ton, but
I've had one, and it was
I had
at
one
PGA
today.
Dallas. Yeah, see?
It's so funny because it's like, I mean, I always joke around. It's like, it's not going to be worth much, you know? But like,
what I say is the
Yeah.
value probably goes down.
your hat.
yeah.
Or your piece of paper or whatever, the paddle that you
The
just
paddle.
signed.
Yeah, I probably ruined it.
But I don't know. It's just funny. It's
Yeah.
just funny, dude.
No, and I
YouTube
love
is
it.
a thing, man.
Yeah, it's
It's a thing.
It's
So
a whole
Celebrity is a thing.
experience. Like
Yeah.
there could be a whole podcast about just like what it's like being a YouTuber, because there's so many things behind the scenes. There's a lot of things people don't see from the front facing part that like I think I don't know, people would probably just find interesting.
I've told Chris that I'll know I've made it when somebody recognizes me outside of a pickleball court or a pickleball tournament. Like you see me like
Oh,
at a
you
gas-
haven't that hasn't happened yet?
Not to
Has that
me.
happened to you?
I actually don't know. I can't confidently say
Dude,
no.
I've had that a few times.
I'm sure it's happened
But
to
it's
you.
like so like
Mr. Popular over here.
Yeah.
I've been a dude. So there's this place in Arizona. When you guys come next, I want to take you. They have the best banh mi's. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I love banh mi's.
So dude, at this banh mi place in the middle of Arizona, this guy comes up to me, and Caden's with me actually.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, "You guys are like I've been watching." So no, it's just funny, but like the randomest places,
Yeah.
like Albertsons, or like randomly.
That's so funny.
I don't know,
That's so
but it's
cool.
usually, it's kind of a cheat too. Like if there's a tournament around, there's gonna
Yeah,
there's gonna
there's
be
gonna be
there's
people.
gonna be people, you know, going.
Just not like every day.
Yeah,
Just like
Life.
a Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah,
well, we should probably wrap this thing up because we got an intensive tomorrow, huh?
yeah,
Good pod though.
yeah.
Been
Anything
enjoying it.
else?
Wait, are we
I
the
mean,
first
is it-
repeat guest?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Pickleball studio times 2, dude.
Heck yeah.
go.
We in it.
No, so really appreciate you guys coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Leave a comment below on if we get enough viewership, we might have them on for a third time. But what would you like us to talk about? Maybe the YouTube thing might be
Yeah.
interesting to you. I don't know. I mean, paddle reviewers, coach. Drop a comment below what you want our topic to be next.
We have a lot to offer. Okay, we can talk a lot about a lot of different things.
I don't know if we have a lot to offer. We have a lot to. We could talk a long time.
Okay, next time if we do a third one, because I've actually started working on this and I
Okay.
need to get a little better about it, but I actually have a folder on my computer where I screenshot hate comments so that one day I can read them all on like a podcast.
Oh, that'd be
I
so
think-
good.
And there's some funny ones.
Dude,
Yeah, I had some screenshots.
I should do that as a segment in general, though.
Yeah, you
But
should
I
do
don't-
that
I
as
don't
a
get
segment.
enough.
See, the main reason I'm like building them all up, one, so I have a big list, but also two, I don't want to give the person satisfaction of knowing that they were the one that left it. So if I wait long enough, they probably forget they wrote
Dude,
it.
let's do that.
Yeah, we've been saving them.
That's
So
a
yeah,
good one. All right, closing thoughts, guys.
I'm just excited for
Oh, you're
tomorrow.
good.
I'm
Are you
excited.
good? Anything
for,
else?
No, I'm excited for tomorrow. But I am curious though, and
Yeah.
I wonder if your audience is curious.
Okay.
Does your audience know what's under your hat?
What? What do you mean under? Because I wear it all the time.
Yes.
I think you've had some videos with
Yeah.
that.
Have you?
It's not that. It's not. But I'm a buzz fade.
Okay, there
Buzz
you go,
fade,
guys.
man. You guys, yeah. Come on. I have it off sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's not that crazy.
That's for the
Good
premium
question.
subscribers.
Good yeah, that's for premium. If you want to pay premium, you know. Okay, but anyways, Will, Chris, Pickleball Studio. Thanks for the new sponsorship, and also thanks for being on. I
thank
really
you.
appreciate your time.
Thanks for having
We're gonna
us.
have a fun 2 days tomorrow. We got to get sleep, so we're gonna close it out here. Do you want to close it out here, Chris?
Yeah. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.